Wednesday. Thank you for joining us. Now for our invocation, Ivan Debt.
Please join me in prayer. Most Heavenly Father, we just thank you for this day and thank you for the opportunities and blessings that you're bringing us. Father, we pray that you would continue to guide and direct us, show us how we can serve others better here and around the world. We pray, Father, that you bless this food and the nourishment of our bodies and be with those who prepared it. Father, we ask these things now in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Flag salute. Salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated. Our Sergeant at Arms today is, drum roll please, Judy Mack.
Okay, everybody, as we know, this is the time that we collect some money, fines, as we call them, for our scholarship fund. So, guests, you do not need to put any money in there, but members, put your buck in there. Okay, so today, it's Guess the Rotarian time, okay? I'm going to give you some hints. We'll see if you guys can guess who it is. Has 8 brothers and sisters. They said they had met Ricky Skaggs, George Jones, and Loretta Lynn. Are any of them still alive? I'm not sure. Anyway, started their career in Pitcher, Oklahoma at the age of 18 and is still in the same profession. Mows lawns for downtime and to relax. Would this Rotarian please stand? It's our Chief of Police, Okay, next one. Thought about being a nun for 5 minutes. They went to a Catholic school, but they were not Catholic. I could see him in a hat. Showed their horse in Madison Square Gardens. They met Tony Bennett. Brutalized French toast in their 7th grade home ec. That's why that was the beginning and the end of their cooking abilities. Any ideas? Would this Rotarian please stand? Jan Smith. Okay. This Rotarian is not here today, but this is so good, I have to read it.
Andy Stewart.
Close. During the Vietnam era, they were involved in multiple non-destructive protests. A close friend was removed from school after using a fire hose to spray tear gas out of the air. Guess who turned on the fire hose? Rode a Triumph 650 motorcycle from California to Missouri and back. On the return trip, 20 miles from home, after a 5,000-mile trip, I was ticketed for excessive noise. Was a sociology major, simply and successfully to acquire a GPA. Still aren't sure what sociology is, but I did great on multiple choice tests, not so much on essays. In college, in the 1970s, they had shoulder-length hair and a short-haired wig, which they wore to traffic court several times as well in order to obtain employment. Anybody have any ideas? It's Rod McFarlane, of all people. So he's not here. But anyway, oh, is he here? Rod, stand up. I didn't know you were here. There he is. There were so many stories. This guy could be a presentation one day for Rotary. The stories went on and on about riding in a boxcar and all this stuff. Anyway, it was great. So anyway, I want to thank everybody for putting your dollar in the bucket, but I have one more announcement today. This week has been the book fair at the lower elementary. And there are a lot of kids that are coming to buy books that don't have the money to buy books. They want to buy a book that's $5 or $10 and they only have 2 or 3. So we're going to ask for a couple more donations. Trish, if you would help us collect, and I'm going to come around and collect. So if you guys have some money, just hold it up over your head, and we'll come collect that. And thank you very much.
Okay. Start digging.
Rod McFarland, what a guy.
Thanks, guys. Book fun. Thank
Our
you.
Rotarian of the day is William Makayo. Is he here today? Our students of the month, Jacob, Reed, and Hannah, they're picking up the buckets. Thank you, guys. And if you have any special announcements, if you will, please come forward.
Yeah, different.
Sorry, I was too busy trying to find a bucket. Anyway, I wanted to let you know that Lindenwood Gardens will be having its fall work day on Saturday, October 25th, and we need all the help we can get of all kinds, all ages. If you have children, particularly muscular children, would be nice. No, we often have little kids running around picking up sticks. That's needed also. So if you would, let us know or sign up, contact me or Jim Reynolds if you have any questions. It's, we gather at 8:30 in the morning, and it goes to, we serve lunch, and it's usually finished by 2 o'clock, or however much time you have. Thanks.
As Judy mentioned, the book fair did start today. We have 4 more days to go. We could always use an extra volunteer or two. Come see me back. Thank you.
Yeah, we got a fishing tournament this weekend. The VFL, we will need people there around 6 o'clock. I know Clint's been the guy that does this for us, for the city, and the announcers, but he's not here. So I just want to make sure we're all still planning to be there at 6 o'clock Friday and Saturday morning. Thank you.
Wolf Creek Park. Hang on. Right more. So Friday night, we have for the Fort Gibson football game, we have 4 tickets that our wonderful auctioneer, Brett Malone, he just was told this, he was voluntold. So we have 4 tickets to Friday night's game. We did not win against Cushing on Friday last week, but we're not going to say anything in church. Fair enough? About the officiating. So back to the 4 tickets. These are the Section C, row 11, seats 6, 7, 8, and 9.
Okay. Should we start out lower since we lost? So let me just tell you something. Anybody go to the game? Pat? Me and Pat. That's good. So, live stream. Me and White are watching. We beat Cushing 9 out of 10 times, I can assure you. Our kids just didn't show up. It's a long drive out there. We're going to make some excuses for them. Fort Gibson is the team we have to be. We need to be there. So these tickets are worth at least $100. Anybody? $100. 25 bucks a seat. Be easy to get. Thank you. That's blah 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 blah. Got 100. Blah 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 blah. 10. Blah blah blah. Sold. Right. No, 110. Sorry, Jim. 110. Blah 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 blah. 120. Blah 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 blah. 120. Going once. 120. All right. Blah, 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 blah. Is it sold? 120? 130? 125. 125. Blah, 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 blah. 130. Is He's taking a drink, he's thinking about it. Anybody else? Why is it this side has more money than you? They always bid. You guys are broke, that's why I said that. 130? No, 125, sold. Jim Connor. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys. Our guest today with our speaker is Charlotte Howe. Charlotte, thank you for joining us today. With Kirk Killian, his lovely bride Donna. Thank you for coming. And Amanda will be introducing Heather Turner, our speaker for today.
Thank you, Serena. All right. Well, it is my pleasure today to get to introduce Heather. She serves as the Executive Director of CORE at the Oklahoma Department of Commerce, where she leads the state's strategic efforts in community development, outreach, revitalization, and enterprise. A dynamic leader with a deep understanding of both economic systems and human spirit, Heather is passionate about creating sustainable growth through people-first strategies that strengthen Oklahoma's communities and economy. Before joining the Department of Commerce, Heather served as President and CEO of the Junks Chamber of Commerce, where she acted as the city's lead for economic development, community development, tourism, and marketing. In that role, she worked closely with city officials, educational institutions, and private sector partners to foster job creation, enhance infrastructure, and improve quality of life for the residents. One thing that I am adding to this, obviously, when we talk about Department of Commerce, they are so engaged in the growth market. She's got Charlotte Howe with her today. Charlotte is our liaison here locally in Delaware County. She is in and out of businesses with us constantly. So in addition to that, I'll also say their workforce, what they do with workforce, what they do with film and music, their aerospace and defense team is in and out of Grove constantly. Our rural services that we work with Charlotte, data services, they help us with population. We constantly are calling and asking them for updated population reports, which is such a huge resource for us here around Grand Lake. And then of course what they do to help us with workforce and incentive packages. And we absolutely, Grove is growing, and there's a lot that's happening through the Department of Commerce. A lot of it is behind the scenes. It's things we can't talk about yet, but I can tell you the footprint here in Grove with their leadership is, it's getting bigger. So help me welcome Heather.
Thank you, Amanda. It is so good to be here with you all today. I like something that you said, and I don't know if you wrote it in, but the people first thing. Sometimes we're talking with our team, and I'm like, it's always people over policy. Policy is really important, but if the policy is not built around the people, then it's really worthless. And so I'm so excited to be here with you because I love, well, I think they just took it away from me, but the idea that you're asking yourself the question, is what you're saying and what you're striving for true? And is it a mutual benefit for everyone that's involved? And that's what the Rotary does. And honestly, that's what's so great about Oklahoma. Just last week, I was in California with the governor. We were with Chickasha, and we were trying to recruit some businesses for the state. And I met with a manufacturing company, and they said they were still waiting. It had been over 2 years they were waiting on permitting for their building permits. And Chickasha said, we can do a building permit in 10 days. They couldn't believe it. And so what I want you to hear from that isn't about Chickasha, but it's about Oklahomans. Oklahomans are friendly and warm, and that's not just about greeting your neighbor or, saying hello to someone as they pass you by on the street, but it's about welcoming business in, finding a mutual benefit that rewards both the residents, that rewards the schools, that rewards the city and everyone that's involved. And we believe economic development starts right here at home. It is not state-led, it is local-led and state-supported. And that's really how I feel about economic development. So I'm Heather. I want to share a little video to get us started. Just top 10 things, or some of the areas that we are ranked top 10 in the United States. If you'll play that first video, Jim. of those statistics, and those are all really recent. That said number 9 in net migration, so that means people moving from other parts of the country to Oklahoma. It's actually number 8 now. So number 8, so they're moving to us. And anybody want to guess what states, top 2 states they're moving to us from? California and Texas. Yeah, and you may have seen the lieutenant governor had I think it was in either the Oklahoman, I think it was in the Oklahoman, and it was called the Texodus, where people, there's an exodus from Texas, and we have had more Texans move to Oklahoma than Oklahomans move to Texas in the last 2 years. And that's pretty cool. We haven't been able to say that in a while, so we're very excited about that. Anytime we can win over Texas, we're happy. But I'm Heather. I'm the Executive Director of CORE, which I'll share what that means today. But I want to kind of introduce you to a little bit of who is the Department of Commerce and what are they doing and what does Charlotte do and how can we connect you to resources and how can we best partner. So we have executive leadership, who is John Budd, he's the CEO. And then Deborah Morad, who is the Secretary of Commerce. So the Secretary serves on the Governor's Cabinet and sort of the external facing. And then the CEO, of course, is more internal facing. I also serve as the Deputy CEO. So here I am, Deputy CEO and the Executive Director of CORE, which we'll get into. Then we have, on the other side of Commerce, is called EDGE, which is Economic Development, Growth, and Expansion, and that is the recruiting arm, and really the purpose of that role is to bring new business into the state. And so they're the recruiter, we're more the cultivator, and so we work with local businesses already investing in the state. Community partnerships like you all here, already investing in the state, because we care about expansion, retention, and attraction, that really we're focused on developing culture, environments where economic development can prosper. Okay, John Chappie, he's our Chief of Programs and Partnerships, and really what he does is a lot of times I'll say, hey, I noticed this gap in funding, help me, let's create a tool if one doesn't exist, or let's discover a tool that's been sitting unused in a toolbox, and I'll kind of share some of those discoveries that we've been able to make together. So he's really kind of a solution finder. Jared Cooper is the Director of Rural Services. And then Ray Little, Director of Entrepreneurship and Small Business. Leisha is that aerospace that Amanda spoke to. You all have a great ecosystem for aerospace and defense here in Grove, and so she's probably spending some time, or her team spending some time here with you all. Sarah Short is the Director of International Relations. And then Buffy Ski is our Main Street Program Director, and I'm excited to share a little bit more about that today. Jeanette Stanton is the Director of Film and Music, and then Marshall Wilkes is the Director of Community Development, and Stephanie, Marketing and Communications. All right, so what are CORE and EDGE? CORE, Community Outreach, Revitalization, and Enterprise. So within CORE, there's a lot going on, so we're going to get into that because you all are the core of Oklahoma, and our departments are here to partner with you for resources. And sometimes there's some resources sitting around that maybe you have not plugged into because you just don't know they exist. So that's what we're going to talk about today. And then economic development, growth, and expansion is that role that actually right now is open. There's an opening at Commerce because that person just, his was last week. And so anyway, there's an open position for that director. That's the recruitment arm. Okay, CORE. So you saw all of those directors within the CORE division, and it was 2024 legislation. The legislature decided that Commerce should have 2 divisions. It was all just together, and these departments actually existed. They just didn't have leadership guiding each division at that time. And in fact, they hadn't had a confirmed CEO in about 2.5 years when I came on board. And so I was appointed by Governor Stitt April of 2024 when CORE just was becoming established. And it actually got confirmed into law May of 2024. Okay. Community development has 25 federally funded programs. They all focus on either community development, which is infrastructure development, So community block grants, so think sewer, water, some things that are underneath the street. And then they also fund community service grants. So think about senior nutrition programs, the state Head Start program, things that early childhood development, things that help people go to work, right? Or make sure that we ensure the quality of life, because if there's not a good quality of life, you're not going to attract or retain business or residents. And so community development is actually the largest department within Commerce. There's about 33 employees in that department working on all of those federally funded grants. There's a lot of different programs there. Disaster recovery programs, weatherization programs, rural development grants. There's some different things like that that all go through community development. So that's part of my team. Then Main Street. So the Main Street program, I'll share a little bit more about it, but it's a national program. Did anyone know that? 47 out of 50 states are part of that program. Just this last year, I got to go to Philadelphia, where they have a national conference, and it was incredible. About 2,500 people were there, representing 47 states across the nation. Every state comes full of energy and so excited, and they spend about $3 million in that 4-day span. Next year, they're coming to Oklahoma. We got the national conference. Why? Because we have 400 and some miles of Route 66, and it's also the Route 66 Centennial next May, and that big national conference is in April. And so they all wanted to come to Oklahoma, so we'll have about, and they think there'll actually be more than we're in Philadelphia, about 3,000 people coming to the Tulsa area, and spending, $3 million and up in hotel, restaurants, and retail, and all of that. So we're happy to take their money and happy to welcome them to the state. Okay, and then Oklahoma Film and Music is one of our departments as well. People ask me, why is film and music in Commerce? Well, I'm going to show you a little bit of their stats, which is, right now this year, we have 35 productions in Oklahoma. And just this one that just released, it's called The Lowdown. It's in Tulsa, it just released on Hulu. It's a little bit crazy and a little violent, but if you could handle that, it released on Hulu a couple weeks ago. Actually this week, I think the first week of October. And 2 weeks ago, yes. 1,500 jobs. 1,500 jobs from that program. And so it's a real economic impact. Those people that come and stay, maybe they stay for 6 months, maybe they stay longer, depending on if it's a series or a big movie or what that looks like. But they stay in our hotels, they rent out homes, they use our catering services, they use our sound production because they get incentive dollars if they hire Oklahomans. And so they hire as many Oklahomans as they possibly can because that keeps their costs down. And then, of course, that gives Oklahomans a lot of job opportunities. So anyway, that's why, because it's a real industry and it's not just a fringe industry. All right, small business and startups. We have 29 incubator programs, or state-certified incubators within the state. I don't know if you've got one in Grove or not yet, but you do? Yay, okay, wonderful. So we just, I'll share a little bit more about that program, but we have 3 new incubators, which is really exciting. We've seen that growth happen over the last year or so. And then regional and rural development, which is what Charlotte is your gal, and she is a go-getter, very driven, and she's a great partner for your Chamber of Commerce and also, of course, all of your community memberships like the Rotary Club. Okay, community development. If you'll look up here, that CDBG is Community Development Block Grant. That's what that stands for. The government likes to use a lot of acronyms. And I had to spend a long time trying to learn them all. I'm still trying to learn them, but that one I know. And so that is something that you can take you can put public input in. So this is important. Write down linda.good at okcommerce.gov. Why? Well, do you have some infrastructure needs here in Grove? Would you like some of those block grants to be designated for Grove? So that means water, sewage, maybe some access roads, or some different things that those infrastructure dollars can be used for. And you get to put public input between now and actually the end of November. You can email Linda Good and say, Linda, have you considered this? We actually need to grow our capacity for water in order to put a residential, neighborhood over here. Or in order to get these businesses to come, we need to up our capacity for power, or whatever that looks like. Linda Good is who you want to reach out to. Rural development grants are the REAP. I think you guys just outpaced what is considered for that particular grant, because I think you're over 7,000 people now. Is that right? I think you're just over, like by 400 people? 7,300? Yeah.
But if we can count the 2020 census, we can apply one more time.
That's right. You can apply one more time if you count the 2020 census. So the new census is coming out. We start doing that work pretty soon. So you should do it now if you're going to do it. because you are growing, which is good. We are not hearing that in every community. Some communities they're actually not growing, or maybe they're even declining in population, or their schools are declining. I just was talking to some communities the other day. So it's great to see growth. That means there's life, so that's good. But disaster recovery, matching funds, and then of course those community services that you can see as well. Okay, research. If you are a business owner and you want to expand, there's some really wonderful incentives that are going to come open in March. And I'm going to talk about those here in a moment on OIEP. But if you look up here, we had 201 companies that were approved. That was out of, and actually I think we ended up approving about 20 more than that. I think we ended up approving 221 out of 266 who applied. So that's a pretty good ratio of how many got. And what is that? That expansion program says, I already have a business in Oklahoma, but I want to build an addition so I can bring in more equipment, or I can hire more people and produce more. Apply for this. It opens again in March. You can get some dollars in to help you with that expansion. Why? Because we want you to grow jobs in Oklahoma. We want our businesses to succeed. It's an investment. How is it paid for? Out of withholding taxes. So it's not charging an extra tax. It's just saying, I'm going to take we make an agreement with the tax commission that says, okay, we're going to take the withholding tax that would go to the general fund for this portion of this project, and we're actually just going to put it right back into the business owner's pocket. Sometimes when you hear the word incentive, you think it's government spending. Actually, for Oklahoma, most of it is performance-based, and it's the revenue that you already generated as a business just being put right back into your pocket. Or for the city, some of the incentives which I'll go over, the city's the applicant, it's just them capturing and us matching some of those dollars that would not have been generated should the business not have taken those steps to expand or grow. Does that make sense? And so, actually, it's smaller government, because it means the government's taking less of the business's money and letting the business put it back into their own expansion opportunity, which creates more jobs and economic growth. So that's a great program to look forward to. Okay, here are some of the most utilized. Oklahoma is probably known for quality jobs. The reason is most states do a tax credit incentive. But if you've ever started a business, you may realize the first couple of years, the tax credit might not mean that much to you because you spent so much money to get your equipment, to get your overhead covered, your new building or your lease agreements or whatever, that you don't have a lot of tax liability, so the tax credit isn't actually very valuable. So instead of a tax credit, it's a cash payment. Now, if you want to do a tax credit, you can do that investment new jobs tax credit. Both are up to 10 years, 5% of new payroll. Well, that really adds up over time. And so now you're getting paid cash every quarter for up to 10 years. That is an excellent program. A lot of states do not offer that. We offer it, and people love it. Okay, business expansion program is really kind of what I already explained to you. It's just, that one's more focused on equipment. So there's a company in Marietta who applied for this program, and they needed a new machine. And they create those conveyor belts. They actually manufacture conveyor belts for the airport, right, that all your luggage comes on. And if they had one more machine, they could double their production. So that one didn't double the jobs. I think it added like 7 new jobs, but it doubled their production. Their revenue greatly increased, right? So that means sales tax revenue greatly increases for that community, and of course the addition of jobs. So they qualified for that incentive because greater production. Why did they need some incentive help? Well, because the cost of that machine was about $1 million, right? And they couldn't get the whole thing paid for by the bank. And so that's something that we want to help, because do we want you to double your production and add more jobs? Yes, we do. Yes. Okay. Then, of course, the Innovation Expansion Program, which I already referred to. Okay, these two. So, Grove is a destination, right? You all have this beautiful lake that everyone likes to spend a lot of time on. I don't know, I didn't take the time to do the research if you all have ever taken advantage of the Tourism Development Act. You know, that or the Leverage Act. Okay, they are both funded similarly, but they're different. The Leverage Act provides matching funds to projects within a designated enterprise zone. Who decides if you're an enterprise zone? Department of Commerce. Okay? An enterprise zone has to say, I'm bringing in outside visitors to my town. It's not all people that live in Grove coming to my destination. In fact, it's about 25% out of state. If you want the Tourism Development Act dollars, you have to have 25% that are coming to you from out of state. I don't know your numbers, but I'm guessing a lot of people come from out of state to go to Grand Lake and to come and visit. Tourism Development or the Leverage Act is for retail, restaurants, entertainment type. You can have mixed use in there, so you could have housing. It could be like maybe you have some apartments on top of that you rent out for guests coming in, or hotel. So there's some different options there. It could be mixed use developments. But this is where the dollars that are generated get matched. So let's just say, we're going to make it easy, you generate $100 of sales tax that goes to your city, and the other $100 that would go to the state just gives right back. If you are the Leverage Act, the city is the applicant, okay? But in order to do that, you have to have a TIF district if you're doing the Leverage Act. You have to have a tax increment financing district. And what that means is, let's just say that you have an area right now that's not fully developed. And right now, it's worth $100. I'm just using easy money. That area is worth $100. And the developer that you want to attract says, I'd love to put some money into this, but it doesn't have access roads. I need to extend the sewer lines. I need to extend the water lines. I need to put in a substation, you know, whatever they need to actually be able to create the development. And it's going to cost me $1 million or whatever. But once I do it, I'm going to be generating money, you know, that you didn't, tax revenue that you didn't have. A tax increment finance says, okay, right now it's worth $100, that land. If that development happens and now it's worth $1 million, it has incrementally grown $900,000. I'm giving you a little, is this okay? Are you bored? I'm just explaining how this works, okay? You've grown the property value that much. While you've grown that property value, the city takes those taxes in, and instead of giving it to all the normal taxing entities, they make an agreement and say, okay, school, we're still going to take care of you by this much, and we're going to take care of these entities, but we're going to capture some of those taxes. It doesn't have to be 100%. In fact, most of the time it's not. They capture that and put it right back into that development to be able to expand it. Okay, so that is one way. If they're, say they capture that $100, we're just going to go back to the $100. The state taxes, instead of it going to the general fund, the state taxes also go right back into that development. So that first developer who said, okay, I'm going to pay for your access road and all these things, they can get paid back for some of their investment, and the city doesn't have to front that cost. How do they double their dollars? The Leverage Act. Okay. Tourism Development Act, so those are great ways for you to take advantage. We also have small business startups. There's a small business hub if you want to look at that on our website. It's a great way if you have a company you're wanting to start up, you have questions. This is a great resource for you all. We have an incubator program that I spoke to. We've just created a funding mechanism for that. It's a pooled finance program. Again, these are not new dollars. These businesses are generating dollars. Some of those withholding tax can go right back in to pay for things like chamber memberships and Rotary Club donations. Now we're still, I don't know, but it can pay for things that help them succeed sustainably as a business. Rural development, I've got Charlotte Howe here. So does everyone know Charlotte? Charlotte, stand up, let everybody see you. She's wonderful. She is an incredible resource to you, and she's really here to connect you with programs or answer questions or just sit down and have coffee and say, what questions do you have? What would you like to see for your community? And she can say, hey, well, did you know about this tool? Hey, well, did you know about this? Or did you know such and such community did this, and this is how they got it paid for, etc. And then one of the things I just wanted to mention about Grove, we have some incredible assets here with your industrial park and the regional airport. And I just mentioned a few of the company names here, but you have a really strong ecosystem in aerospace and defense. And sometimes we're sitting on assets that we don't even realize that we have. And so what I would just encourage you is, like, if you didn't know that, I hope that you already did know that, but if you didn't, it's pretty impressive. And Oklahoma's fastest growing industry right now, fastest growing, is aerospace and defense. It's only second in size to oil and gas for the state. We are becoming widely known for it. The Northeast region is actually becoming known as the drone capital of the world, so much so that we have people from Taiwan coming. They've probably come and visit us 3 different times because they want to see what we're doing on drones, for example. So tech hubs of the world are coming to Northeast Oklahoma. So it's not something to shy away from. It's very exciting, and the aerospace and defense that we have is much of that supply that we can get reshored in Oklahoma, in the United States, but of course we want it in Oklahoma. That's what we want. So as much of that supply chain loop that we can just completely close the gap on, so we're not having to rely on external parties for that aerospace and defense or technology that has to do with that. We want it all here in Oklahoma, and as much of it here in Grove as we can have. Oklahoma Main Street, I just wanted to mention this, and I know I'm about out of time. The Main Street program, this incentive did not exist before I came on board. So I'm an entrepreneur. I have 4 businesses, they're music schools, and we have 4 locations in the Tulsa region. And Jinx, Bixby, Broken Arrow, and Tulsa. And so I've been on Main Street for about 15 years, and I have a special place. I love a Main Street. I love a Main Street. I've gotten to know all my neighbors. We've done incredible things like you all are doing, but just bringing people together. And that's truly why I love Rotary Club, because I haven't been a part of the Rotary Club as a member. I've been on the Optimist Club though forever, and Chamber of Commerce, and different groups that just are there to serve people. Well, Main Street people, that's that kind of person that's like there for community. It's like our kind of people. And they had a great program with resources, but they didn't have any funding mechanisms. And a lot of small towns, if they needed just simple things like street lines, streetscaping, lighting, new trash receptacles, facade improvements, things that keep a downtown revitalized and say we are still taking pride. This town is not deteriorating, but it is revitalized. It's growing, right? We're going somewhere. Well, a lot of the smaller towns didn't have funds to do that. And so this P3 program works like this. And you all, I've heard, are already great investors in your Main Street and have done incredible things, which means you're already investing. So why not let the state come alongside you? There are 3 levels. The first one, it's free to be in the network. Everybody say free. Free. Okay, there's not a sneaky catch, okay? You just have to have someone that's designated, that's that point of contact for Main Street. And there's a program they can go through. But for free, as a network, if your city says, you know what, we want to put in a project, we're going to put in $50,000 for whatever it is, I don't know what it is. People have done community centers, pocket parks, facade improvements, lighting, they've done streetscapes, they've done new parking lot lines, they've done all kinds of different things. You get $50,000 matched from the state. You're doubling your money. If you're in the next program, which you have to go through some training to get, $100,000 match. The next program, you get some training, $150,000 match. How do we fund it? Is there any bank in Grove? Is there one bank? Okay, let's just say there's one. Okay, let's just say there's a bank in Grove. I'm going to explain. Is this okay? I'm just going to explain it so you guys know, like, because people are like, well, where's this money come from? Okay, the bank has some employees, and they have to pay withholding tax. That withholding tax right now goes to the general fund. Does it have to go back to Grove? Nope. If I talk to someone from the bank, is there a banker in here? I won't put you on the spot, but let's just say I talk to Bob from the bank, and I say, Bob, you want that Main Street to be doing good? You want them to be able to revitalize? Bob, of course, says yes. Bob, at no cost to you, would you make an agreement with the Department of Commerce so that we can have the tax commission, instead of put those withholding taxes in the general fund, go back to this fund and pay for your Main Street improvements? Bob's going to say yes, of course. My business is here in Grove. I would love to see Grove get some of those withholding taxes. That's all it is. That is a program that I said, hey, let's create a program. We put those dollars, the local dollars, back in the local community. I could not be more passionate about anything else. That's what small local government means. You can determine your own destiny. And so, don't sleep on these programs because they're only positive. It's not extra dollars. All it is saying, hey, we generated those dollars and we'd like some say over where they come back to. And so that's the Main Street Development Program. We had 10 communities apply last September. 9 of the 10 had approved projects. This year we've had 12 qualified, 12 different communities across the state. I'm sure those are going to go through, that we'll have those awards at the end of October with the Oklahoma Development Finance Authority. That's who approves it. And then, of course, like I said, that agreement is with us and the Tax Commission. So I wanted to share that because that's one I think, Grove, if you could, I think you should take advantage of it because it's a good deal. It's a good deal for you. So, okay. Quickly, I think I already told you about the film and music, but if you want to see this, there's 36 active projects in the state right now, and it's creating over 10,000 jobs. I know it's a lot, right? Yeah. This is a lot of work. But $531 million in direct economic impact. $531 million. That's why Film and Music is in Commerce. Edge is that recruitment arm, and we've got Tina Lindsay is who I want. That's the name I want you to remember about Edge right now. She is over our economic development specialist. So if you have an idea for a recruitment, bringing a new business here, or you have some help that you need on that type of work, Tina Lindsay is your gal right now, and hopefully we'll have that new position for Edge filled out soon. ACES is Alicia, as we already talked about, the aerospace program, some incredible things. These are just a few examples of what they spend their time on. And then we've had incredible growth. I think we've had a historic over $14 billion of investment just this calendar year. $14 billion in the state of Oklahoma, and thousands of jobs created. And so it's a really exciting time to be an Oklahoman. So hold your head high everywhere that you go. You are an Okie from Grove, not Muskogee, but you're an Okie. And so I hope that you're holding your head high with that. We're so thankful for your time today. And this is just a little video to finish off with.
So Fidel is a family company that started close to 60 years ago in 1966 in the area of Lucca in Italy. In total, we are in 13 different countries. We are doing mainly bathroom tissue, kitchen towel, and all kind of tissue paper that you can find in restaurants, hotels, and any offices. The first contact that was before I came even to the US. It was in one of the meetings of Select USA in Washington, D.C., where the people of the Tulsa Chamber and the Oklahoma Commerce met our CEO. And one of the owners of the company. Oklahoma is a very friendly state to do business, and also for newcomers. So it was very, very easy from the beginning.
Commerce is the primary economic development entity in the state of Oklahoma. Most of the projects that we see coming into Oklahoma to look at our industrial properties, Tulsa Port of Inola and Tulsa Port of Catoosa, come through the Department of Commerce. Their ability to get interest in Oklahoma as a whole, but then narrow down to the individual unique regions of the state is incredible. And I don't think we would be able to do our jobs without them.
They were with us in all the steps of the process after we started up the site. And even after the startup of the site, they have been following us, how it was doing the company, we need any other support, and we have been in contact, all this time.
One major piece of the puzzle when Sofdale was located here was the ability to access rail transportation. That partnership between us and the federal government through the Maritime Administration, Sofdale, Watco Companies who operates the rail, as well as lots of other partners, was able to bring rail transportation to connect Sofdale from the Union Pacific Railroad and did a $20 million rail connection project through a federal grant. Sofdale originally came here and had really around 150 employees in their first location in an existing building in Tulsa. And that really spurred into the need for a larger, fully integrated facility to make sure that they can grow long-term in Northeast Oklahoma. With them now being over 500 employees, the impact of those jobs, both primarily and in the secondary ways at the local level, are enormous.
We start with this with the first quality jobs when we install a small converter in Tulsa. And right now we are in our third.
So that quality jobs is that incentive that he's talking about?
Incentive and a very successful project.
One of the biggest impacts that you see and can measure at the granular level is the initial sales tax inflow from the project landing in the town of Inola. That impact in the first 2 years of Sofdale constructing tripled the sales tax inflow for the town of Inola and eventually quadrupled it over the next 2 to 3 years. That along with towns and cities being reliant on sales tax is impact that I think they were very impressed by.
All right, so with that, I just want to say thank you all so much for your time today. We have All In for Oklahoma coming up soon, and Charlotte will be sure to let you know because we are working on a strategic plan for the state. This will be an online option for you to join us and give your input about what you think the state should focus on for economic development. And so please join us when that comes out. I think it's going to be the first week of November, but Charlotte will get those details to Amanda, and she'll be able to share. All right, thank you so much for your time.
Anyone have questions for Heather while she's here? And if we run over, I'm sure she would be happy to stay a little
I'm
bit.
happy to. I apologize for running over so much.
You're fine. Does anybody have any questions for Heather?
So I've repeated this story a lot and hoping that it was correct. So an individual that I work with in the liquor business came from Canada, and he brags a lot how the Oklahoma Chamber of Commerce have helped him find a location and relocate. So that's 100% accurate.
It is 100% accurate. So we have Locate Oklahoma, where external parties can engage with us to look at sites that are already on our site that we have access to. But we also have people like Charlotte.
Yeah, is that Attila?
Yes.
They're wonderful. I love them.
So we also have, Charlotte is the Northeast Rural Development and Regional Development Specialist, but we have specialists in each region across the state. And so we have a portal where folks can put on sites called Locate Oklahoma. But we also have people, and I always say people even over a portal or over a platform, because people talk to people and they know what's happening sometimes before it's put on a website. And so we have site, we definitely help with site selection.
You said a minute ago that people were coming from Taiwan, Taipei, or somewhere to see what was going on in Oklahoma about drones. What is going on in Oklahoma?
Yeah, very good. So we are one of the federally funded, and I believe, Charlotte, how many millions of dollars do we get for Tulsa Tech Hub? I can't remember how many millions of dollars, but federal dollars that only 12 states in the United States got, and Tulsa was one of them. Yeah. And because of that, they have innovation. They're working with, of course, so We have the largest maintenance, repair, and overhaul, which is in the aerospace industry in the nation. So with Tinker Air Force Base, and then with American Airlines, Boeing, everything that we have. And so the drone, because we have technology dollars for new innovative technology, and we also have OSU who's focused on that, along with Tulsa Innovation Labs. We have like tech startups doing fancy things in drones, and they do drone showcases once a year, and I think it's in May. You can go and see the crazy things that these new drones can do. And so people from all over the world want to see what our technology is, and then also because we have all of these components, we have all these skilled workers that are already in the aerospace and defense, we're pretty attractive because those people can also just get a third certification in drone repair and maintenance, just like you would as an aerospace mechanic or electrician. There's a drone certification you can also get through Spartan or Tulsa Tech now. And so we have that skilled worker set that is pretty unique. Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy what they can do now. Yeah.
Any other questions for Heather?
I'm Adrian. There's a lot of wonderful nonprofit organizations in our town, and we are very much supported, all of us. Is there anything that you can think of that can help
Our nonprofit organizations with your organization.
So we work with, in fact, we're on a committee with the Oklahoma Center for Nonprofits. Do you already work with them? Some of you do? Yeah. I know there are some federal programs that actually are in limbo right now, if I'm being honest. That is concerning. I'm trying to use the right words here. That is concerning for our nonprofit, industry sector, because it is a big sector. I can't remember off the top of my head, but it's. Does anybody know how many nonprofits there are in Oklahoma? I should know that, but it's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot. And what nonprofit means, it's a tax code. It's not. It doesn't mean you're not profitable, by the way. But right now, I can't think of a specific incentive for nonprofits, if I'm honest with you right now, because I know that there are some that are on hold right now from the federal government. I'm hopeful that those things change in the near future. That Charlotte, if we hear some things open up, is it Adrian?
Yeah, Adrian.
Adrian.
I'll share my information.
Yeah, Adrian would love to hear some information. And if I learn some things in the new, I think we have a meeting with Oklahoma Center for Nonprofits around this topic in the next few weeks. They reached out this week about it too. So I'll share that information. Sorry I didn't have a better answer on that one. All right, well, thank you all so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. So next week's meeting, Doug Anderson will be back, Patty Beth's husband, to join us about reminding us of old scams and share some new ones that are currently circulating in Grove and the surrounding areas. Thanks to our speaker again, and thanks to our students of the month. And Drift, I'm sorry that we missed them. We didn't thank them in advance. So if you will stand with me, leaving the tables out, pick up the blue chairs and put out 7 metal chairs. We also have a board meeting at 1 o'clock or shortly following thereafter in the park. So now, we will close with the 4-way test. Now, the things we think, say, or do, is it the truth? And is it fun?
Well, no, I'm done.
didn't mean to put you on the spot. Well, I was trying to do some back there with some other nonprofits. That's where I was looking at the areas. Now, you mentioned that there's a what was that? Yes.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
I was the Deputy Secretary of Health and Welfare for the state of California. I used to work, and then I worked for Reagan in Washington back a long time ago. So I've been in those kind of jobs, did economic development for many, many years. Anyway, you did a great job today. Thank you for coming. No, you were fine. No, most people go further over than that.
We're going to take a picture.
So that,
But it was thousands of dollars.
it could have been. I mean, they say it's covered by insurance. I'm not paying for it. But the whole point is, it's the principle.
It's the principle of it. Wrong? It's like
I'm sure every guy grows on this
okay. Yeah. Y'all want to join us for a picture?
And
It's her phone. She handed it to me and said, take a picture. I think she did it her.
Oh. I was trying to prove somebody had frenzy on it.
You know, yes. Here you go. I help you.
I was telling her you run the advocacy center.
Yes. Here, guys. Yeah. Also, you guys on it.
That is so cool. Thank you for your building. We did the new building. You gave me advice on how to put, I said,
So Laura and I did all of it.
and
You did great.
On my cell phone.
Did great. It is so
Finally
nice.
getting
I found the state logins that I needed. I found our guns number. What I'm wondering, it's such an invitation. I guess if I just fucking read it, it's gonna be okay. And it's super, do I probably need to have you draft something? Oh, we'll have to get you out here. Yes, I will. I'll be considered, like, I have permission to. Yeah. Well, I gotta get this lawyer. Okay. And then just go in and change. And I'm gonna change. So then they, we can at some point, if you guys think so they know me, like city of Grove, okay, if you know that form or something. Because next time, generic for anything. I gotta do.
$50,000
Me, do it. You should have just called me.
Heather Wagner, taking pictures of every place that doesn't have water. It's so petty.